Welcome to episode 15 of Insurance, Investments, and All About Town podcast. My name's Eric Sporing, owner of ECS Capital Investments right here in Blue Springs, Missouri. To my left is my podcast partner in crime, Tara Lavelle with Vaughn Fire Insurance. And our guest today is Kelly Pearce with the CEO of St. Mary's Hospital right here in Blue Springs. Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right.
Welcome, Kelly. Excited to have you.
Excited to be here.
I have a confession.
Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, Brian, you're off the hook. That's my confession. Her husband hasn't never watched our podcast. And we're 15.
He did watch one.
One. Well, not even one. It was like just partial of one, wasn't it? So anyway, we always start with the Brian watch our podcast. And so over the Thanksgiving holiday, my wife confessed to me that she has not watched the podcast.
Oh.
If it makes you feel any better, my wife hasn't watched your podcast either.
Good to know. Well, we won't make fun of her like we make fun of Brian. So, but Brian, you are now off the hook.
He threatened to show up today and watch live and in person. So, yeah.
So she told me that she has not watched the podcast. Now, I thought that, I swore she was on the couch one night. I swore I heard it over there, but maybe it was like Brian and just watched a little bit of it and then was
that's
done.
okay.
So my question is this. I did not get a return video from Brian, so I assume that, and I know he's going to be upset that I say this, but the hunt didn't go well this
No, we
this
still
deer
don't have
season.
a deer. So I went out in the woods with him.
Okay.
Opening day?
Rifle?
Question mark?
Rifle?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe it was the week after. I can't remember. First time in the woods. It was muddy like you would not believe. It was awful. We saw nothing.
Saw nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Is he blaming you?
No, he isn't blaming me. Although I did find out you can turn pages of a book too loudly. I had no idea, but that scares away the deer.
I know.
Kelly, can you attest to this? I know you are a hunter.
Tara, I actually take my phone with the book on the phone, so
Now that was a good idea.
my biggest worry is that I open it too soon when it's still a little dark outside because I don't want them to see
then the light. Yeah. So here is my question, right? Is that we're in the woods. There's noise all around me.
There are.
So how is it that my specific noise is the problem?
Because it's not a noise that deer normally hear.
Okay, all right. Here's my other question. So
this is turning into, Brian's going to love this episode.
yes,
It's a hunting episode.
Yes. So
I got your back, Brian.
apparently during the rut, like nothing is going to stop a buck except the wind in the wrong direction, me turning the pages of a book, me sniffling.
It sounds like you really are the responsible for his lack of deer.
Okay, I give up. Yes, no, we did not see a deer, but there is we hunt in Concordia. So Brian leases land in Concordia. And they have a fantastic distillery because all roads lead to
Back to the,
in Concordia called 1832, where they brew their own, distill, pardon me. So they've got, I think 3 types of rum, a whiskey, some bourbon. So we always stop in. So my treat was, I said, I will go with you and I will sit in the woods with you, but only if we stop at the distillery. So we hunted in the morning, stopped at the distillery.
Everybody was happy.
Yep, everybody had a great time.
So it was funny because I just told you that my wife hasn't watched the episode, right? And so as we're leaving, she was leaving this morning, she goes, "Hey, have a good podcast." I said, "Well, thank you." And she goes, "Are you going to make fun of me?"
Yes, we are.
I said, "Yes, we are."
100%, but only for a minute.
Yeah. So anyway, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good.
Good?
A good time. Yeah, I hosted as usual. So, but it was calm. It was organized. Had a wonderful time.
Oh, good. Kelly?
It was great. Got to see my family, and of course, the previous 2 weekends hunting, I got to go out with both of my boys. One each of the
Wait, did you guys get a deer?
I took an 8-point buck on
Nice.
opening day, so it was
Nice.
fantastic. The boys saw some things, but nothing to be able to shoot at.
Okay.
So
Did
we had a
you
great
already
time.
eat the backstraps?
We have not already eaten the backstraps,
Okay.
but I also got my deer from last season. The taxidermist called me a few weeks ago,
Okay.
and so he's actually hanging in my office at work. I'll show you a picture after
Please
we're done
do,
here.
yes.
But, he's festive. He's actually put on the Santa cap with lights and has
That
some
is
lights
awesome.
hanging around his neck.
So
he was a
did
14
you?
point.
I was
14?
getting. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
Brian! Did you hear that?
I think you
14.
found a new hunting partner, Brian. It sounds like wherever he hunts is good.
Is this an Illinois deer?
It is not. So I leased some land in Shannon County, a little south of Rolla.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's fantastic, God's country. Like when we sit out at the fire at the end of the day, look up at the stars. In fact, I was actually able to finally get my iPhone to take a picture of the stars. I'll show you that afterwards too. It's just a gorgeous sky this past couple weeks.
Wow. So Kelly, if you send us a picture of this deer, can we actually show everybody?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Perfect,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
Okay.
get it
We'll
up
get
there.
that. And we'll
Marissa.
take the stars too.
Yeah. We will. So, well, I think today I was going to talk a little bit about, just missing a few days in the market, how it can really affect your portfolio. And I think today you were going to talk about some subsidies and health insurance premiums, right?
Yeah.
I know that's kind of big in the news. And we'll also share some what's going on kind of in the community or in the metro. I think we'll end with that as well. So, Tara, why don't you go ahead and why don't you get us kicked off? Yeah,
okay.
kick us
all
off.
right.
So.
Subsidies in the marketplace. We're all tired of hearing about it. I am
exactly.
sure.
I'm sure.
As we waited and waited and waited for the government to reopen in hopes that there would be a solution, we found that it opened and there wasn't. So first and foremost, let's just talk about what the subsidy is. Subsidy is a tax credit that is being forwarded to you as a subsidy to buy down health insurance premiums. And when we talk about the subsidy, we're really talking about two different types of subsidies. So there's the original subsidy.
Yep.
What we have not renewed are the extended subsidies. So that extended subsidy really allowed people with up to 400% over the federal poverty level to qualify for some sort of subsidy, which was buying down those marketplace premiums. That's the portion that we have not renewed, and there is little hope that it will renew by January 1st. I'm pretty sure we'll roll into the first year or the first of the year without those. What it's caused is huge rate increases, and especially for people who were in higher income brackets and had qualified for that extended subsidy. So I have clients who had $400 premiums for the last couple of years, whose premiums are now well over $2,000 a month. So those are some expenses that most people don't budget for, don't plan for, and it's really caused a lot of concern about how we move forward and how we can afford health care. Some of your best practices, like when we talk about, how do you prepare? Well, number one, right, do your homework.
Yeah.
So know the cost as you start to plan. And this is an important conversation. I know Eric is having this conversation with his clients, especially those who are retiring early.
Yes.
So if you're not Medicare eligible and you're leaving the workforce, you've got a couple of options, and they are COBRA or the marketplace. Those are your most traditional and most, I would say, your best coverage options. So knowing what the cost difference is between COBRA and marketplace. So there are individuals right now who chose to forego COBRA, right? Because those subsidies were buying down premiums. It made a whole lot of sense to be in the marketplace and forego COBRA. Once you've foregone COBRA, you can't go back. So those same people now are paying more for their marketplace coverage than they would have for COBRA. So really working with someone who can help you estimate what those costs are going to be for you, and then taking that back to your financial planner to talk about what healthcare is going to cost you in early retirement is an important conversation to have. The second part of that conversation to have with your financial planner is, as I'm pulling money from my retirement accounts, are they taxable events? Is it creating taxable income for me? Because if it's creating taxable income, we have to take that into consideration in the marketplace when we're looking at a subsidy. Options.
We all laugh.
They aren't good. So if you're choosing to forego the marketplace, There are MedShare programs available. You may have heard of MedShare programs. My caution is that that isn't true insurance. No. Again, do your homework, understand the product you're buying. Short-term policies can be an option. So you can get a short-term policy. Those rules have changed anywhere from 6 months. Some companies are offering up to 3 years. You have to qualify, right? So there's underwriting. Pre-X may not be covered. There's all sorts of things in those that can make it a risky move. But if you understand the risk and you are comfortable with that, that's an option you can take. Direct primary care, I hear more and more about that all the time. Again, not an insurance product. That is you essentially, it's almost like a subscription, right, to a private primary care doctor that is your doctor. So you pay a monthly fee and you have access to that doctor for sick care and all of the other things. No major medical coverage, so if you have to go visit Kelly, you're going to get a really, really big fat bill, but that is an option. And then there are off-market plans. So those are backed by your major carriers, but again, not ACA compliant. So none of these things are ACA compliant, meaning Affordable Care Act compliant. So they can exclude pre-X, doesn't have to cover preventative care. So all of them can be risky. But you're really trying to weigh, risk and cost and all of those things. So making sure you've done your research, exploring all of your options, because I do not think the federal government is coming to our rescue by January 1 to give you health care at a reasonable cost.
Tara, if I can add to that, I think in addition to the increase in premiums, one thing that folks need to look out for is the increase in the deductibles. As we start looking for plans that have lower premiums, oftentimes they have higher deductibles, sometimes up to $8,500 a year, sometimes $10,000, $15,000, or even $20,000. And what that means is that if you get your care and you get the bill, you're going to be responsible for that deductible before that new insurance plan starts paying for anything above that. And so I think as you're looking at those plans, when you're talking with Tara and folks about new plans, consider that deductible piece as well. Yeah. And you mentioned direct to primary care, which is something that's becoming more and more prevalent in the marketplace. We actually have a number of different direct to primary care folks in the Blue Springs area, including Dr. DeMarco at Keys Health, which is just down the road from here. Dr. Sharkey with Virtue Medical just down the road, and Dr. Garcia at Garcia Family Medicine. And so while we don't employ any of those three doctors, I work with them on a regular basis, all fantastic clinicians, and they do have opportunities, particularly if you have needs on an outpatient basis and the ability to see a primary care physician for just general everyday illnesses, colds, flus, that types of things. But as you pointed out, if you do need to have major medical from imaging to surgery or emergency department visits, that's typically not covered under a direct primary care relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Another interesting issue, in the marketplace is due to carrier contracting, like the number of providers accepting the insurance are shrinking as well. So they are foregoing those networks. And I understand why that happens too. So you're right, we can shop for price all day long, but we also need to think about, deductible. What will my care look like, right? Will I have access to the doctors I need to have access to? Will I have access to the hospital I want to have access to? So a really good fact-finding conversation with a good broker can really help you narrow all that down.
And the other thing I just encourage is if you do find yourself in a situation where you have to go to the hospital either because of an injury or an illness, and you find yourself with a high deductible, make sure you talk to the finance department at the hospital so that they can help work through a payment plan. Don't just ignore the bills. Don't just let them go by the wayside. The patient financial experience for most hospitals is really important to us, and so we want to make sure that we're working with folks that don't have the ability to pay up front or to pay those large bills in one lump sum. So definitely talk to the financial department at the hospital if you run into that situation.
It's good to know.
Yeah, all good stuff. Me and Kelly's the right guy to have.
I know today is perfect.
He's coming back every month.
Yeah, I know you touched on it. I recently met with a client husband and wife, they were looking to, wanting to retire soon, early, before age 65. And, and I know I've talked to you about this. I meant just to get them to Medicare age, it was estimates, right? $150,000 just in medical. They're retiring fairly early, but that's got to come out of the portfolio.
Yeah.
And so
I had a client receiving a substantial subsidy, but ran into some things in her home that needed to be repaired. So it was kind of a series of unfortunate events that all kind of piled on top of one another. Well, she pulled from retirement accounts to make these repairs. And what she didn't realize is that was now taxable income. Because so she took out $40,000. Well, that increased her annual income enough to knock her out of subsidy.
Yeah.
The other thing to remember, like I said, it is a tax credit you are being forwarded. So getting your income estimate right, or as close to right as possible, is imperative, because there is a true up. So it is going to true up at tax time. And if you have tried to cheat the system to give yourself a subsidy,
they'll catch up.
They know, and they're gonna want their money back at tax time. So that's the other thing to consider. I make sure I have that conversation. Right? Yeah, we want to make this right. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to pay at the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. So
we don't want a big tax bill either. So.
Yeah. Great information. I know, this. We're filming this on December 3rd, so
we are.
Yeah, we're close to deadline.
We are.
I know we've talked about this extensively for the last couple podcasts, but it's imperative that you talk with somebody before you jump in, because there's just so many moving parts to it that you just don't know.
Well, December 15th is the cutoff for January 1 coverage. Yeah. There is a late enrollment period that runs through January 15th for February 1 coverage in the marketplace. If you miss those cutoffs and you go without insurance, you have to have a qualifying event to get back in.
Okay.
Right? So then we're looking at some of the alternatives
to get you to
kind of patch it through until we can get to that point. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's good information, as always. I've learned so much, and from our podcast of insurance. I feel like you could hire me and away I could go.
You could, yeah.
But I don't
Next
think
time I need an
that.
assistant. Yeah.
So, well, today, is that all you got? Do you want to add anything to it, or?
No, I think great information, something that's really important for folks that are in the exchange and in the marketplace that need to know that information.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, well, today I was going to talk about, like I said, of just missing certain days, good days in the market. Timing the market rarely works. I've shared on this podcast before. I share with my clients a lot of, if you look at the history of the market, every 4 years is a down year in the market, right? 2022 was our last big year that we had a pullback in the market. 2018 before that, and then 2015 before that. So history tends to repeat itself. So what I'm trying to do is prepare.
I was like, wow, this is so uplifting. What a great, how much fun is it?
Yeah, so just hey, we're due for maybe a little pullback. I mean, it could be small in nature, or hopefully it's not like 2008 again, but we just never know with the markets. But I wanted to talk a little bit about just people get nervous and they get out of the market, and how just missing a couple of the best days could really wreck your portfolio. So trying to time the market, like I said, just rarely just doesn't work. So the average investor has tended to underperform the markets, when just the markets in general. If you look at the last 30 years, 1994 to 2024, the average investor has averaged a 3% return, just on average. Because, I have some clients, as much as I, try to, talk to them, they're just those nervous Nellies, and they, hey, just find me a safe place. Yeah. And so they're going to bring, the other people that are in the market not scared. Yep. It just kind of brings that average down. But the average is 3%. If you look at inflation is over that time frame is averaged about a 2.5%. Inflation's at 2.5%. So you can see that you're just barely covering, inflation. And if you look at the stock market, the S&P 500 is what I'm using here today, it's averaged a 10.2% return. And then if you just look at government bonds that the government puts out into the marketplace, they average about a 4.4% return is what. So that's what you're looking at. But what if you just missed 10 of the best days in the market. So if you go back the last 30 years and you look at the S&P 500, and they like to use big numbers here, but so if you would have put $100,000 into the stock market in 1994, and when I'm talking stock market, I'm talking the S&P 500. So that $100,000, if you would have stayed invested and would have returned about 11% return, you'd have $2.2 million today, okay? What if you just missed the 10 best days over the last 30 years? So the 10 best returns. Your 2.2 million would be just a little over $1 million. $1 million.
Just by missing 10?
Just by missing
days.
The 10 best days.
10 of the best days.
Over the last 30 years.
Wow.
You basically cut your investment return in half.
Okay.
Okay. What if you missed the 20 best days?
I don't want to know.
Well, you don't want to know. Well, I'm going to tell you. So your portfolio is now worth $611,000 for just missing 20 of the best days. What if you missed 30 of those days? Now you're at $386,000. I'll go on.
No, I don't think so.
40.
I think I know where we're headed.
40 days, it's $255,000. If you miss 50, $173,000. If you missed 60 of the best days last 30 years, you'd be at $121,000.
Wow.
So, rarely trying to time the market just doesn't work.
So patience and time is what we need.
Yeah,
Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I tell everybody exactly is, things are going to get scary, right? The markets are going to pull back, but the markets also, they give it, they take it,
Yep.
So, but, stay invested. I mean, it may hurt, but, it's going to come back. On the flip side of that, if you, trying to, time the market right, and you also miss some of the best days, right? That's what we're talking about, missing the 10 best days. Like over the last 30 years, the 15 best days in the last 30 years have all happened in a crisis situation. So like COVID, for instance, if we would have bailed on COVID, right? The best days in the market, best days, so this is returns in one day. If you would look like March 24th of 2020, the S&P 500 was up 9% that day.
What?
Yep, 9%. So you would have missed that 9% return because you were scared of COVID and what the market was doing. So, like the financial crisis, right? That was 2008. The market was down 40-some% in 2008. But some of the best days, we had an 11.6% return in one day. We had a 10.8% return in one day. So that's the flip side of missing the 10 best days. That's what you're missing by getting out of the market. So it's scary, but like I said, you'll be happy on the flip side.
Okay.
If you stay invested. So that's kind of all I really had. I mean, I was trying to keep it short and sweet. I meant just don't get too nervous. I know I'm here to talk you off the ledge if you get on that ledge.
Yep.
So that's what I'm here to do.
Good info.
So, yeah. So, but that's what I wanted to share with you guys today.
I've got a hot seat question for you, Eric.
Uh-oh.
Any concerns over the AI bubble or not so much of a bubble, whatever it's perceived to be right now?
Right. So you are seeing these companies really operating above, their PE ratios. I mean, they really are out above their PE ratios. But what you're seeing is these companies are still producing and beating earnings. And so until we kind of see that start to slow down, I'm not too worried. But yeah, I have my foot, a little bit on the brake because these PE ratios, price earnings ratios.
Thank you. I was going to ask for some clarification.
Right, here I am talking
one.
my jargon, right? Price earnings ratios. So whatever their
Okay.
price is, the price of the stock, their earnings, and then there's anything in the teens, especially when you hit into the 20s, when you see those type of ratios, it's a pretty high ratio. Means that their price is really further out ahead than what their earnings are. So what they're bringing in as a company. But we're still seeing earnings are still good for these companies. So
okay, break that down for me. So you're saying, and we're specifically talking about AI companies.
So like
so
NVIDIA
the price of the stock of the AI company
versus their earnings.
Earnings. Okay.
Yeah, that's PE, price
Got
earnings
it.
ratio.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that's kind
Guys,
of
I sell health insurance.
So yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's one that comes up quite a bit. So yeah.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know me.
Oh, here we go.
I'm
He's
not
got
done.
some sort of.
I'm not done.
He's got some trivia or
Yeah.
some stats. He's got something coming our way. Kelly's cheating. I saw him looking at your paper.
Well, it's small print.
Good.
So we got 1 month to go. As I said earlier, we're taping this December 3rd.
Yep.
So 1 month to go. Since 1945, the S&P 500, so the 500 biggest companies in the United States, median December performance has been a gain of 1.5%. So since 1945, we've averaged a 1.5% return for the month of December, with positive returns 75% of the time.
Okay.
So that's good, right? In the 9 years when the S&P 500 has been up 10% year to date, which we're up 17% as of last Friday. Has been up 10% year to date, but was down in November. The median December gain was 3.9. So if we've had a November where the market, the S&P 500 was down, we've actually had a better gain than if it's up. November was up.
Okay.
So with positive returns every time. Well, I hate to say this, but we were up in November. Half a percent, 0.54%. So, it's looking like a 1.5% return in December.
For sure, you're telling us not to time the market in December, right?
Right, exactly. Especially if it was,
down in November. Podcast, so I know not to.
Right, yeah, right. If November's a down, then we get a better return because it's 3.9. But if November was up, then our return's a little small. So, listing vanish. I thought this was kind of interesting. In September, 5.5%, 84,278 of home listings were delisted, which was the highest percentage for September since at least 2016. 70% of September's delistings were considered stale, meaning that they had been on the market for at least 60 days without going into a contract. So, we're starting to see a little bit of that housing market looks like slow.
Yeah.
We need to get our good buddy Joey, who was our first podcast guest.
Oh, yes. Yes.
He was a real estate agent. Maybe get him on to talk about that. So, but anyway, wanted to share those.
Those are always good.
I wanted to share those with you guys. So, well, I am done unless you have any other questions.
No.
So
thank you.
That will clear the runway here for Mr. Kelly. So I'd like to just do a little bit of intro for you. Kelly serves as the Chief Executive Officer at St. Mary's Medical Center here in Blue Springs. He began his role in February of 2022 after previously holding senior leadership positions at hospitals in the St. Louis region. With a background as a critical care nurse and a master's in health administration, he brings both clinical insight and administrative experience in guiding the hospital's operations and community-focused care. Welcome to our podcast, Kelly.
Thank you. Appreciate the introduction.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for, like I said, being here. But one thing we forgot to do with Kelly is, I know today you got your...
Oh, I do have my Bank 21 cup. It would be a St. Mary's cup, but I noticed that Kelly showed up empty-handed, so...
Yeah. I'll fix that. I'll bring this in.
Not to be pressure on you.
Carmen's actually the first one that brought us any swag, but now I'm going to demand it.
All right.
I mean, just what I need are more.
I've got ideas.
Okay,
You
perfect.
got ideas. So, Kelly, once again, thanks for coming. Share a little bit about, St. Mary's Hospital here in Blue Springs. I think it's a hidden little gem. I know my son was born at St.
My daughter,
Mary's.
too.
And so it's a great little hospital, but I think a lot of people just don't know enough about it. So enlighten us about St. Mary's.
Will do. Well, St. Mary's is a 137 licensed bed facility.
Okay.
We are what I consider a bread and butter community hospital. We're not going to do the high-end neurosurgeries or cardiothoracic surgeries that you might see at a tertiary or quaternary care center downtown. But we are a very capable hospital delivering high-quality care so that folks in the Blue Springs and surrounding communities can receive that care here in their own community and not have to travel long distances. And so we have a number of services that include the emergency department, orthopedics, cardiovascular, pulmonary, pain management, sleep services, and a whole slew of others. We offer both ambulatory care as well as inpatient care. Okay. And although you both mentioned that you've had kids at St. Mary's, we no longer offer maternity services. That is one of those things that is high risk, low volume, and so more of the community hospitals will defer that these days to some of your larger academic medical centers and such. And so we are just ecstatic to be a part of the Blue Springs community. We try to support the community in more ways than just health. We are active in the Blue Springs Chamber of Commerce, active with Community Service League. We're active with a whole lot of other things, including Hero Fund USA and our local first responders, and really enjoy the time that we spend with our community and really hearing from the community on the things that we can do differently as a healthcare provider, as well as a community partner.
Yeah, great. I know I recently read, I think you and I both read the article recently of some awards like the St. Mary's, it was like a metro-wide hospitals. Sure. I thought you guys scored very well with that.
Yeah, so we have just received word that we received a grade A for Leapfrog for the fall of 2025, which is a fantastic award. Yeah. To be honest with you, I've got 4 pages of awards here that I think we would bore the audience to death if we went over. A few other things that are important for the community, particularly when we're talking urgent response for your heart and for your brain in particular. We are a time-critical diagnosis facility for STEMI, which is an ST elevation myocardial infarction or heart attack, particularly kind of heart attack that's important to have treatment in a very short period of time to improve outcomes, as well as for stroke. And so what that means is that the state of Missouri tells us that an EMS that's transporting somebody from their home or from some location cannot pass up a time-critical diagnosis approved site because that's the quickest way that we can get somebody better. Right. And so St. Mary's is a STEMI and a stroke center for time-critical diagnosis, and the EMS partners that we have in the area know that, and we'll bring them to St. Mary's and have exceptional outcomes. So in addition to that, we've received a number of awards from the American Heart Association, from Get With The Guidelines, which is one of the American Heart Association programs, Health Grades, which is through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and LAUN, and a whole slew of others. So we have most of those awards on the website. Those are really all from 2025. Those get updated on a pretty annual basis, pretty much, and we're proud of the work that our staff do, that our providers do to deliver exceptional care in our community.
Yeah, that's tremendous. I mean, like I said, it's kind of like a little hidden gem here. Like I said, a lot of people don't realize that what a great hospital we have here in Blue Springs. I noticed it relocated, St. Mary's relocated from like downtown Kansas City or somewhere.
Really?
Yes, in 1981.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it relocated to Blue Springs in 1981.
Interesting piece of trivia. So it was relocated by SSM Health. SSM Health, so they actually were predominantly located in St. Louis. I spent 13 years of my healthcare career working for SSM Health in St. Louis. In fact, was with SSM Health prior to coming to St. Mary's. And I did not know that St. Mary's was a former SSM facility until I was saying goodbye to a number of my folks at DePaul Hospital. And our security director said, hey, did you know that that's where SSM Health had a hospital, and we switched hospitals with Carondelet sisters. And it turns out the hospital that was switched with St. Mary's was St. Joseph Hospital in Kirkwood, Missouri. Okay. St. Joseph Hospital in Kirkwood, Missouri was closed in 2009 as they opened up a new SSM Health facility in Fenton, Missouri, St. Clair Hospital, where I became an admin director of nursing operations, a VP of operations. And so I really felt like I came full circle coming back to a former SSM Health facility, particularly one that was traded for a hospital that I formerly worked for. And one of the other neat things is I ended up calling the archivist for SSM Health before I left there and asked him, hey, is there anything you can tell me about this? I'm really interested in the history. And he said, well, I'll tell you, we have a portrait of our founding sister, and if you happen to see that portrait is no longer hanging at St. Mary's, we'd really like to have that back. So it took me about three days to locate the portrait, and I did find it, and it was still hanging in the hallway. So I had to call Scott back and tell him I'm sorry.
We got it.
It's still hanging.
We're keeping that one.
Yeah. So it really is a small world in healthcare, and just really enjoy the culture at St. Mary's, the folks that we work with, and the care that we deliver to the community.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know the whole story. I knew, like I said, it relocated, and I didn't know the whole circle. That's kind of cool. Tell me a little bit about. I know I read something. I think you guys also like breast cancer or cancer. I mean, you guys are well known for that, or have won some awards. Or?
So specifically, we have a breast center that helps women for diagnostics and for screening mammograms, and then from a surgical perspective as well, we can do breast surgery, and we partner with some folks from the University of Kansas to help with the oncology side of that. So we do have a program that's fantastic, and that I would highly recommend if you need mammograms, whether it's screening or diagnostic, that we can get you set up.
Do you still have your 3D walk-in?
We do.
Good. Yes.
What's 3D walk-in?
For your
3D tomography is really the gold standard for making sure that we have the best images to be able to diagnose any type of cancer from a breast perspective, and so accessibility is extremely important for patients, and it's helpful to schedule appointments sometimes for your own purposes, make sure you're not waiting and things like that. But we also offer walk-ins to make sure that, if somebody just says, hey, I've got a few extra minutes, let me see if I can go in and get this done, because it's extremely important to get your screening mammograms done on an annual basis.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Just walk in and be able to do that. So, yeah. Anything else you have, or?
Gosh, no. I will say I can certainly attest to the community partner that St. Mary's is. I know that, from a community perspective, boy, are we glad to have you in the community. Also, knowing that, you've been here how many years now? 4?
But just about 4 years.
Just about 4. And the trajectory of St. Mary's and the improvements that have made we have watched your progression over the 4 years, and really appreciate that you came to our community in this specific facility, because we need you here, and we're glad you're here.
Appreciate that. And it's a fantastic team. Our Chief Nursing Officer, Emily Pegues, has done a fantastic job with nursing, and in the emergency department in particular, we've really focused on the patient experience. In the last 4 years, we've been in the top, the last 3 years, we've been in the top quartile of patient satisfaction nationally. We're at 94th percentile in 22, 93rd percentile in 23, and about 80th percentile this year on a year-to-date basis. And so constantly making sure that we're looking at, what do our patients need, not just in terms of exceptional patient care, but also in terms of the experience. How are our staff treating you? How are our providers treating you? Because we want you to come back if you need care again. Yeah. We'd prefer that you stay healthy and you don't have to come see us. But if you do, we want to make sure that it's an experience that is going to resonate with you, and a place that you want to come back to.
Yeah. Now I'll go a step further, just talking about community involvement, right? I meant you mentioned the Chamber of Commerce. Tara and I both are chamber members, and I've been a chamber member. I know it's 10 plus years, and so I've really seen. What I'm going to try to say here is, St. Mary's. I've seen the involvement. Let's put it that way in the chamber over the last several years. I've really seen a difference from where it had been. So when it comes to that, the involvement.
Well, the community is extremely important to us, and I think the Chamber of Commerce is an excellent way to give back to that, as well as many of the other things that we do with the school district and with various organizations within the community. So we're pleased to be a part of that, and look forward to new opportunities as the years go by.
Yeah, and the Hero Fund, you talked about that. The Hero Fund actually is in our building here, where we do this podcast. So familiar with that group as well. School district is always good, partner to have. So. Anything else that
Gosh, no.
you got?
I think that was great.
I know Kelly kind of hit all my highlights that I had here. You already
Kelly came prepared.
You did. So
I would expect nothing less.
Yeah. So
would you like me to tell you about some happenings?
Yeah.
Are we ready for that part, or do you have something else you'd
No,
like to?
you can go right into our local happenings, what we got going on.
I will. I'm trying to think if I want to do that or hot seat.
Hot
I'll
seat?
save my hot seat.
Ooh, all right.
It was a stretch to find things going on in the community in late December into January. So the things I found, I remind everybody, Thursday nights at East 40 Brewing, there's a fantastic, fun trivia night. Starts at 7. Bring your team. You can have up to 8 people on a team.
You don't know any teams that
I might know a team that's won once.
So, interesting story.
I see a challenge.
So when I interviewed for this position at St. Mary's, I drove from St. Louis on a Thursday night, and I wanted to get an understanding of what the community felt like about St. Mary's. And so, of course, as I scrolled through Google Maps, one of the first places I looked for were breweries, which is a favorite place to go to on occasion. And so I stopped dropped off on a Thursday night at East 40 Brewing on trivia night, and I was able to talk to folks that were playing trivia. I was able to talk to staff. I bought a shirt that night. I was so impressed with the product that David produces.
Yes.
And then,
We've had David on our show.
So it's one of my favorite places in Blue Springs to visit,
So fun.
and was able to get the good, the bad, and the ugly about what I would face if I were to take the position at St. Mary's.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons that I moved here.
And we didn't scare you off. Instead, you were
Not
like,
at
man,
all.
I like these people.
I was waiting for him to say the ugly part was some lady dancing on a bar top.
I don't know her.
On trivia night.
Nope, I don't know her.
That sounds like another story for another day.
Never happened. So yes, please join us Thursday nights at East 40. It is a really good time. Also, another one of my favorite downtown Blue Springs businesses, Scout, has dropped their new seasonal menu, which is both a naughty and nice list of coffees.
Okay.
Highly suggest the Bad Santa Morning Joe. Delicious. It's made with rum syrup.
Of course.
Or the
Of
Griswold
course.
Family Eggnog. Also a fun one, right? I'm a big fan. You'll want that iced. I've seen what happens when you put eggnog in hot coffee.
Oh,
Not a good idea.
I'm not eggnog nor am I coffee.
Oh,
so-
well, he's not going to stop in. That's
Yeah.
okay.
I didn't say we're going to stop in. I'm just not having the
Not
eggnog
having
or
that.
coffee.
You're going to have the iced tea.
Iced tea.
I know you. Chai?
Mango.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
a
mango black tea. Yeah.
The You Matter movement is still doing their coat, hat,
Yeah.
and glove drive out at Sandy's. So if you've got, some gently used items, maybe you want to stop and grab a couple pairs of gloves, couple stocking hats, please go donate. You can drop those off at any time. There will be a noon Year's Eve beach ball drop at 11, starts at 11:30 a.m. on December 31st over at the Carson Ross Center at the Aquatic Center.
Yeah.
So that would be a nice family-friendly New Year's Eve during the day event. Noon Year's. The Blue Springs Chamber Annual Awards Banquet is happening on the 23rd of January. It is a ticketed event. Also, the one at Carson Ross, the New Year's Eve, also an event you have to register for. Blue Springs Chamber Annual Awards, again, a ticketed event where we will announce the business of the year and the nonprofit of the year. So in 2024, New Day Massage was the business of the year.
Once again, right here in this building.
Yep. And the School of Economics was the nonprofit of the year.
I guess I forgot that.
I had to look it up because I had also forgotten it, and then I remembered all the years I volunteered for the School of
same
Economics
here.
with my
Same
kids.
here. I didn't
Always
know-
a good time.
I didn't know that still was going on. I thought that was over.
Another
That's because
plug,
we're
New
old.
Day Massage has fantastic gift certificates that you can give for the holidays. I've personally gotten gift
Sean.
certificates for some of the folks at the hospital.
Oh, I need to go work for Kelly.
Really good.
Got it. Do you guys need a
Well,
health
in
insurance guru?
between January and September, you got plenty of time.
Yes.
Plenty of time.
And lastly, if you're into hockey, I know Kelly is.
Kelly is.
Or indoor soccer. So we do have teams that play at Cable Dome Arena. You can go watch the Mavericks or the Comets. I have not attended a Comets game. I am a hockey fan, so I do really enjoy the Mavericks game. Just a lot of fun. It's a great place to watch hockey, so I'm sure it's a great place to watch indoor soccer. Just a really fun arena, just the right size. So.
I know of a hockey game that's at just the right price, $9.55 tonight, adult league. Beer League hockey. The Mighty Drunks will be playing tonight. So if you're
Mighty
interested,
Drunks.
I'm afraid the podcast will probably come out after tonight, so nobody will be able to come. But the price is right; it's free.
Yeah.
In
It's
fact,
free.
we
Do you
generally have
play
to
on
pay.
the community arena or do you play in the big arena?
We actually alternate. There are some games that are on the big ice and some that are in the.
9:55 p.m.
9:55
I have
p.m.
not
tonight.
seen 9:55 p.m.
I know, me neither.
in years.
I'm in my fourth REM of sleep by
Yeah.
then.
Wow. I don't know when you have time to sleep. Lastly, this is one of my favorites. Their Titanic exhibit is at Union Station. It will be there through April. It's one of those things I've always wanted to see. I've told you before, I am a nerd. The first issue of National Geographic I remember getting was the Titanic issue. So I have been obsessed since that was probably
Really?
third or fourth grade. So yeah, go out, see that. I hear it's an amazing exhibit. That's it. That's all I found.
That's
I'm
all
sure
you
there's
got?
other. Yeah, I'll keep looking. But.
Yeah, I know. I did the same thing. I did a search, and I really couldn't
I
find
had to look
anything.
really, really hard.
Yeah, it is. Anything like St. Mary's have it?
You know, we wrapped up a Thanksgiving drive for Hope House. We bought Thanksgiving meals for the folks that are being housed currently at Hope House. So we were able to serve, I think, about 40 mothers and their children, which was fantastic. But as far as the holidays, nothing from a community perspective. We have our Joy Day coming up on the 18th, where we celebrate our staff and be able to have a great time for the.
Did you call it a Joy Day?
Joy Day.
I love
Joy
that.
Day.
Does it include food?
It includes catering of food, which is fantastic. That way our food services team gets the opportunity to enjoy it and not have to serve everybody else. And then we also have a drive, or it's a raffle at the end of the day, so that folks can have a chance to
win
prizes.
Okay.
win prizes.
Cool. Awesome. So,
All right, hot seat. You ready?
ready.
You sure?
I'm ready.
Okay. 'Tis the season,
Right.
so most memorable holiday gift.
For us or for somebody else?
I don't care. One you gave, one you received, whatever you prefer.
I think one of my favorites that my wife keeps bringing up is the year that she wanted a DVD player, and I bought her a PlayStation 2 with
You both got to enjoy
with
that
a few
gift.
games, and I think the gig was up as soon as she unwrapped it and said, "Is this really for me or is this for you?" But I got her a DVD.
Is that the
player.
one that? Okay. Did it play the Blu-rays?
Oh yeah, it's
Because
totally
I
Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. I think my husband has tried to pull that one before.
You
So.
tried. Hey,
Yes. Yeah.
Do
I
it
bought that
purpose.
guy more gaming systems.
Fortunately, I'm pretty confident she's not going to watch this podcast, so I don't feel bad about saying it.
It was the gift that kept on giving.
Gift that kept on giving.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Eric, how about you?
Man, that's tough. Just trying to remember back to my
I know.
childhood days.
Right.
You know, growing up, I grew. Lived out on acreage. So I remember shotguns and bicycles. I remember those things as kids. But.
Don't know the last time I gave a kid a shotgun.
Well, no, right. But hey, when you grow up in the country and you
Skip the
grow
Red
up,
Ryder.
yeah, it's the old 410. I can still sit at my parents' house. That 410 shotgun. I remember getting that. Bicycle. I remember getting a 10-speed bicycle, crashing it
That's
into
a
my
good one.
dad's truck.
Oh.
Trying to ride it. I'm that old to where 10-speed bicycles were the thing. So what about you?
If I don't say this one, my family will remind me of what it is. But fourth grade microscope. I wanted a Yep, I told you. I just told you I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
I wanted a microscope, and I got one. So I got to put the things under the slides. I mean, I can still think about like the squeak it made as I pulled it out of the styrofoam. It came in a case, the whole 9 yards. It was fantastic. I looked at anything I could find under that microscope.
Anything. I was thinking about them that I remember now the old Stretch Armstrongs. In my day, the old Stretch Arm, Evel Knievel. I remember those.
I'd say the other big one was a Swatch phone. Does anybody remember the Swatch phase? Like their
I remember
Swatch
the
watches.
Swatches, right? Yeah.
The Swatch phone was clear, and so all of the insides were different colored or whatever. But the year that I got the Swatch phone, my brother and I actually had snuck downstairs, sliced the tape on all of the packages, so we already knew what we were getting. The big surprise, though, was when I opened my Swatch phone, it came with my own phone number. So, I got my own line that year. So,
Was
Did you have to buy a longer cord for it, or?
that's a great question. I don't even know. My grandma had the longest phone cord imaginable at one time. We could...
go around the block.
Yeah, it was crazy. But that's it. So all good memories, all fun.
Was that Sealy, Oklahoma?
That was in Sealy.
Sealy, Oklahoma.
Well, no, my phone number was Olathe, Kansas, but Grandma's phone line actually stretched from here to Sealing, Oklahoma, if we needed a point of reference. So let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. So that'll put a wrap here on episode 15. If you're new here, check out our older podcast, and if you're there, hey, like us, follow us. On the YouTube page, it's ECS Capital Investments is where you can find us. Once again, that'll put a wrap here to episode 15. I'm Eric Sporing with ECS Capital Investments. Tara Lavelle, Von Fire Insurance. Kelly Pearce with St. Mary's Hospital. Thanks for joining us once again. Out. See you at episode 16.